Today we are ranking SpongeBob characters based on how well I would do fighting them. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Guys, let's get into this tier list. So it is important to note we don't have nearly all of the SpongeBob characters on here. This was a popular tier list under the movies and TV category, so I want to do it because if you guys don't know, I have been involved in martial arts my entire life, so I'm actually going to get into the technique side of this. Let's see how we do, and I'm going to be very realistic here, and I do think highly of myself when it comes to fighting. So Mr. Krabs, and I'm going to assume these aren't just sea creatures that are going to die in the environment that we're in, right? So Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs is old, Mr. Krabs is broken, Mr. Krabs is weak, especially if he doesn't have his shell. Mr. Krabs, I would have a free win against 100%. Now, Pearl. I don't think there's a way I could beat Pearl, because Pearl's a whale. Realistically, if she came onto the island, right? Or, why did I say the island? If she came out of the sea onto land, Pearl would be huge. If she walked around like she did, I think I would have to die against Pearl. She could just, like, sit on me, right? I wouldn't be able to take on Pearl, but Bubble Bass. Oh, Bubble Bass. Bubble Bass would be easy work. You have this fat guy who doesn't know what he's doing. Look at those legs. They're barely holding him. All it'll take is a couple tie kicks to the leg. Bubble Bass would fall down. He would stick his tongue out. I'd see some pickles. Free win for Bubble Bass. Absolutely free win. Now, the Dirty Bubble. I'm going to assume that I have my bare hands and I don't have a needle, because that's the way to beat the Dirty Bubble, right? Other than that, the Dirty Bubble would eat me, right? Because I couldn't beat him. You can't punch him in the face. He's a bubble. I imagine, like, punching him in the face and then him just, like, my arm going into, like, inside him, and then he would just suck me up. So I would die against the Dirty Bubble, but I have a better chance fighting against Pearl, right? Now, Mermaid. Mermaid Man. Mermaid Man's probably the easiest win on this entire list. He's literally just an old dude. He lives at a retirement home. I can do whatever I want to Mermaid Man. Same with Plankton. But is he an easier win than Mermaid Man? He's gotta be, because literally you could just kick Plankton, step on Plankton, flick Plankton. Yeah, he's tiny. I'd have to beat Plankton. Now, Mrs. Puff. Mrs. Puff is absolutely also a free win. At the end of the day, Mrs. Puff is a middle-aged woman. Nothing you can do. Oh, then again, she could spike up, right? I would still whoop Mrs. Puff because she could blow up and, like, knock me off her. I know there's spikes on the side, but I feel like I could see that coming. I would, like, dart in and out. Mrs. Puff would be perfect to use feints against. All of a sudden, you're, like, standing off of Mrs. Puff. You twist the hip a little bit, right? And then she would react to that because feints are awesome, and Mrs. Puff isn't used to fighting. Mrs. Puff would fall for the feint, and Mrs. Puff would explode. Then she'd be there all, because we know from Mrs. Puff from the SpongeBob episodes, she doesn't just deflate. She sits there, and then Mrs. Puff's giant face will be there, and it'll be like, pow, 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 pow. It'll be super, super easy. Now, Squilliam. Yeah, I'd kill Squilliam. Squilliam's also a free win. But Squilliam at least isn't old or fat like these ones, so Squilliam, yeah, I don't care how many arms or legs you have. I'm dodging those. I'm catching your kicks. I'll trip you. It'll be easy. Now, Larry the Lobster. Larry's huge, but I feel like Larry doesn't have the technique right. He's just a bodybuilder, okay? We never seen the fact that Larry could fight. What he does have, though, is pinchers, and those are giant pinchers. So I feel like Larry would be able... That's tough. That's tough. I feel like it's a cross between even fight and the whoop me, because there's just certainly paths to victory for Larry. I'm going to put him in an even fight because it all depends if Larry can catch you. Larry's like your big, regular heavyweight in MMA. He lands the shot, you're out, which is in his case, either punches or the pinchers. If he pinches you, what am I going to do, right? There's nothing you can do against that. But I feel like depending on the length, I could be as careful as possible. I could, like, have a couple feints. I can dodge what Larry does. Maybe try to chop his legs down a little bit. Use some push kicks. Yeah. Now that I think about it, though, at the end of the day, he does have those pinchers. So I'm going to go with Larry would whoop me. That's what I think about Larry. Plus, it might be a little bit difficult to reach him. He's a tall guy, right? And I'm only 5'7". Now, Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks, I'd whoop Sandy. I'd whoop Sandy. Easy peasy. I don't think she's a free win because Sandy does know karate to an extent. And Sandy probably has some technique behind her punches, but at the end of the day, Sandy's a squirrel, Sandy's a girl. Probably no strength behind those shots, despite what they show on what they show on the show. You just do what you got to do, right? Patrick, I'd whoop him too. but Patrick's at the top of I'd whoop him. No, he's at the bottom of I'd whoop him, excuse me, because I could see Patrick having some strength. Maybe Patrick, like, would take a lot of shots and just keep coming at you. That's probably what it would be. For Barnacle Boy, also old, just like Mermaid Man, I'd beat him, but I feel like I'd have an easier time, harder time fighting him than Mr. Krabs. He's just an old dude, right? Now the chocolate guy. He has some strength to him. He has youth on his side. He has certainly fists, right? But at the end of the day, you can't fight with emotions, and this guy starts screaming chocolate. This guy sees some chocolate. He starts freaking out. I can only imagine the emotions that would come out in a fight. And if you fight with emotions, you lose. I would just use regular technique to take down the chocolate man. I would whoop him, but he's at the bottom of I'd whoop him. Now, Man Ray. He's a superhero. I die against Man Ray, right? He's absolutely at the top of F tier. I would die. But then again, how am I going to rank this, right? He would be at the bottom? No, he's at the top because he's out of anybody, he would kill me. So Man Ray, he's a superhero. It's like fighting Superman. Nothing you can do. Same with Neptune. As if we could beat Neptune. I don't know what he'd do to me, but he would absolutely destroy me. I don't know who this dude is. Is it just a regular fish? Just a regular guy? Yeah, I'd whoop him. I'd whoop him. Absolutely. Squidward, free win, just like Squilliam, except he's probably easier to beat than Squilliam. Squidward's probably a little bit soy, right? I want to play my clarinet. Now, Gary, also a free win. Just boot that shell across a football field. He's right up there with Plankton. Larry's already here. Why are we redoing things? Oh, we covered everything, didn't we? Where's SpongeBob? This is such a strange list. So the only people we haven't is Old Man Jenkins, and we covered everybody else. That's really strange. Okay, SpongeBob isn't even there. Old Man Jenkins is older than Mermaid Man. He's a free win, absolutely. So that's really weird. It's a popular tier list, guys. I wanted to do it. I didn't put the pictures here. I don't know why SpongeBob isn't here on a SpongeBob tier list, but the people I would die against is Neptune, Man Ray, the Dirty Bubble, and Pearl. The free wins are obviously there, and I would no doubt whoop Mrs. Puff, Sandy, Patrick, the chocolate guy, and the regular fish. The only one where I'm not sure, but I still ultimately think they'd beat me, is Larry the Lobster. Guys, let me know if you'd like to see more movies and TV tier lists down below. Would you beat any of these characters? I'm just off of 8 minutes, so I'm going to talk to you for another 30 seconds here before we get into it. But what I'm going to show you on screen is another tier list. Guys, we talk about movies, we talk about TV on this channel, we talk about anything that I've been watching, and when there's nothing to talk about that I've been watching, we've been diving into tier list content, and it has been an absolute blast. So, honestly, let me know if there's anything in particular you would like to see me rank. Is there any tier lists you would like me to check out? Let me know, because I really enjoy making these videos, and I love this channel, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.